I don't know if y'all can hear through my mic, but I hear rain. And you know what that means? Scary story time with Jesse. Let's get it. Also, I don't use cuts because I'm alpha. From the time when people first settled there to the time when the whole town evacuated, there were always stories of something going on in Chatham Bay. Stories of a creature with hair, kind of like a man, but kind of like a demon. People would say that it would throw rocks at their windows at night, or during the day they always felt like they were being watched. It was only when people started to go missing when the story got attention. One day while strolling through the woods, people found a local creek, and in that creek was about 10 or so bodies cut up, like gutted, strewn piece from piece, bit from bit. No bear would have done this because bears eat their prey, and what they don't eat, they just leave. No animal normal to Alaska would have done this because it's just the brutality of it, pretty much. The people didn't know what to think, but they had their suspicions. For a while now, there had been many sightings of a creature in the area. Some called it a native spirit, some called it a demon, but most just ignored it. Throughout the years of Chatham Bay, many people went missing and they would show up later brutalized and dead, blood drained from their body on the floor where it was found. It was only when one day a man who was out with his dog in a local quarry saw the crew. Well, actually, he didn't see it, but he heard a large piece of metal fly overhead, too heavy for any man to throw, like, think 800 or so pounds. Then his dog started barking like crazy. The dog was barking, the man was scared, he didn't know what to think. And as he was getting up to leave, something jumped onto his back. It was beating his head in from the face, from the top of his head, ripping him apart, scratching his face, gouging his eyes out. Eventually his dog was able to bite it off, and as he turned away he saw massive fur and claws running into the woods. He was able to crawl back to the town, and when he got there he told the people what had happened and how he had just been attacked. It was then that he died on the spot. Terrified, a lot of the locals began moving instantly. There was a mass evacuation. The only man who couldn't leave was the post office, or the man who ran the post office, more like it. And he had to wait for his okay from the state postal service or whatever it's called to give him the okay to leave. And in that month where he was alone, he was writing in his book, and it got to the point where he had to board up the windows. And first it was at night where he couldn't go outside, but soon it became the day. In the middle of the day, the sun's out, he would have boards over his windows. He would have the door locked shut with nails and boards holding it shut. And he would hear a beast walking all over the deck. He would hear its claws scratching on the deck. He would see its eyes peeking through the holes in the boards. At night, he could hear it howling at him. He could hear it pounding on the walls, scratching, trying to make its way to him. This man was rightfully terrified and was constantly sending telegrams until the line got cut. He didn't go out to investigate because he didn't want to die, so he just sat tight. Finally, a few days later, he heard the plane land, and a few men had gotten out of the plane, and he was okay to leave. What they saw was that all the walls on the post office were scratched. There was one hole that was going a few feet into the logs. Whatever it was that was out there, it was trying to come inside, and it was most likely trying to kill him. After his evacuation in 1959, I think, the town was uninhabited ever since. You can still look on Google Maps in Chatham Bay and find small cabins and whatnot, but most of it's been reclaimed by nature by now. So yeah, if you want me to visit this place and see if a demon exists, make sure to leave a comment below, like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and say I ain't scared of no monster. And if I get 100,000 subscribers by the end of next month, I'll go there and I'll beat up a monster. 'Cause I'm alpha.